We're close to a gold entry, but we're not going to worry about whether we're paying with gold or gems. The gem EV on the event is fine relative to best of 3 anyway, so. All right, we've got 20 gems and a possible playable, but this is a better pick than Nikya. Pitiless Pontiff. Maybe the straight up best card in the pack, like the card that I would want most in the pack. I think we should probably just take the gems here. I'm a big proponent of gemming pack 1, pick 1, because it's so unclear where you're going to be. And our main job here is to listen to what the bots to our right are telling us anyway. So the in many ways, this is the least impactful pick of the draft, as weird as that seems, because it's the most likely pick that you're going to abandon among picks where you have the option to rare draft. Obviously, you're going to abandon your 13th pick or whatever, but among the picks where you can rare draft, it's the one you're most likely to abandon. So let's take some gems. We might play it. I should put it in here. It's not like it's unplayable. It's just that that we're not married to this in any way, shape, or form. It was a gem pick first and foremost. Wow, now we have directional decisions. All 3, the rare is missing. We have all 3 uncommons, and we can choose either of these. Not gimmick decks, but build around decks is the better. Gimmick makes it sound like it's not a real deck. I just mean build around. Grotesque Demise is the best monocolored card here, and there are some nice. Looks like really the Azorius and the Esper stuff looks very strong in this pack, is what I'm getting. So I think we want to try to wheel something Esper-y. Like, wow, this is just dense with good Esper. So we'll definitely wheel some Esper here. Thank you. I'll change the scene. Yeah, I kind of want. I'm looking at Dovins. I haven't looked at what people are voting for yet. I'm trying not to say because I want to let people register some opinions on how we want to do this. But I think the grown-up pick is Grotesque Demise, and the Let's Do It pick is like Dovin's Acuity. But this is something like we may want to just try and take the Demise and be flexible. Because another thing that could happen, we take the Demise and then like Skewer the Critics comes next. And we take Skewer and we end up in Rakdos, and all of this Azorius puts a bunch of bots in Azorius, and then Rakdos is more open. That's the kind of thing. Yeah, CTM is basically always open, says Carpe. So now I'll take a look. All right, well, chat wants the Demise. I'm down. We'll take the grown-up pick. But I think Acuity is a fine pick there, if you want to do that. We could take Rhythm to go with our actual first pick. And really, there's nothing so great in this pack that you wouldn't, right? Like, it's kind of the obvious pick. We could splash this. We could still get away from all of this entirely. But let's check our uncommon print run while we're here. We've got one missing uncommon. And I know Rhythm is at the top of this, so Clan Guildmage, unfortunately, is what was taken here. So we could take Rhythm, but we need to understand that a Gruul card has been taken out of this pack. I still think it's the right play just because there's nothing like... The fact that Clan Guildmage was taken out of the pack would sway me off of Rhythm if there were something, again, like a Skewer. Like if there were Rhythm and Skewer the Critics, we would take Skewer because that could go all, in anything here. So even though it is competing with the information we just got, we're going to take it out of lack of compelling playables otherwise. Here we have a Plague White to go along with the Grotesque Demise if we want to go that direction. If we want to try and work this angle, then we're more... Then, like, what are we doing? Again, we have these really marginal creatures. The Beast will wheel. Footlight Fiend goes kind of in any deck, but feels early. I feel like the Plague White is the best monocolored card here, and Final Payment along with the quality of Orzhov in the earlier packs, I think Final Payment is a legit choice here. You don't need to be married to these two. Again, we took the Rhythm because there was really nothing else, not because, and we have a sign from upstream that we may not want to be here. And the more I play Arena Ravnica Allegiance, the more I really just want to understand what seats the bots to my right are telling me to be in. I just think it's that clear, because the guilds are even enough that if you just find the ones the bots like the least, you're going to be hooked up. So, Galat, yes, not only is it usual, they are definitely, well, they're not always together in the sense that it's possible that they are close to each other in the print run, such they are often next to each other, but the print run itself is fixed when it comes to uncommons. So I'm sure somebody can put the print run link again in the chat for Galat, and they can check out what we're referring to there. So what do you guys, yeah, so let's take the Final Payment, and we might wheel the white. That's another thing that wheels a lot. This might even wheel. And let's try, again, we're just trying to listen here, and let's take another listen with the uncommons. Mockery. Oops, I must have misspelled it. Yes, you must spell correctly. All right, Mockery and Bolrak Clan Crusher unfortunately have the Pitiless Pontiff between them, and we just made a move toward Orzhov. Again, this is all just individual data points. You can't be terrified of seeing that there's an Orzhov card taken out of the pack, because the bots are, in a sense, doing what we are too, which is trying to find their open seats, and it may not be the Pontiff. So just because a Pontiff was taken doesn't mean it, but it does increase the chances. So what are we doing here then? We could take, yeah. What's the Gravelhide leans back towards Gruul, which would be fine. The Gate helps solidify some Orzhov interest. These tend to wheel, so I wouldn't really consider those a pick. Trumpeter could be considered a pick, but it kind of becomes our first pick for more of a Rakdos deck. And also, this is another one that wheels. I'm inclined to take the Gate or the Gravelhide. What does chat want to do? Chat wants Bolrak Clan. It tends to wheel. It's a 5-drop. I just don't like prioritizing the Bolrak Clan. I bet it wheels, and if it doesn't, we don't... Here, I think this is a good way to put it. If Bolrak Clan Crusher doesn't wheel, I don't think we want to be in Gruul. Like, when you're in the right... When Gruul is the right seat, this card comes around, you know? See, I'm going to take the Gate, actually. Try to stay open here and listen. We had another good signal, so let's check this out. Windstorm Drake and Orzhov Enforcer have Trollbred Guardian between them. So that's another one warding us off of Gruul. So this makes me want to take the Enforcer here as a important 2-drop versus a generic flying 4. Gosh, we're getting lots of 2 uncommon type situations here. Interestingly, we have a Cry of the Carnarium and not really a bunch of cards that are non-bows with it, such that we could take it and try and actually make our deck work with it and be more of a Carnarium Orzhov control deck. So that's a possibility, but let's also see what's missing here. Cry of... it's either Shark to Crab or Mockery. Mockery goes very late, so we can assume Shark to Crab here. That's the first, like, Simic card we've seen taken out of the uncommons, but it continues the green is being picked up stream trend. So I do want to stay away from green now. I think we're just off of this. And this Orzhov Gate could lead to a Final Payment splash, so I still consider us open to even being Rakdos at this point. Yeah, print runs are an intentional tool that R&D uses to ensure that packs in sealed aren't ridiculous in either direction, that you don't open a total junker pack and a total bomb pack, or a total to bomb pack in limited, and you do that by being very careful about how you are laying out your cards in the printer, because like you can feel like oh yeah, there's also support for the messenger. That's true. Like if we just want to take, like, this is a bit of a, like I was saying, we're in a spot where we could build around this. I'm not saying it's necessarily correct. Like it is difficult to build an Orzhov deck that wants Cry, because what are we going to do? Pass all the grandmas that come our way? Like, I don't want to do that. So like maybe we could build around it, but I'm actually now kind of with the side of the chat that just wants the boring messenger. It's more likely to make our deck here. There's a reason Cry goes so late. It's just really hard for black decks to take full advantage of it while taking high common picks in its colors. Oh, and then I go and take the wrong one anyway. Oops. Yammer, 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 misclick. At least it was a close call between the two, so it's not the end of the world. This time, I think we like the Footlight Fiend over the Caracal. Fiddles hasn't played Jund in RNA yet. Any thought on it? I think I have had some decent success with Jund. And hey, look, our Plague White came back around. That's cool. So we're definitely taking this. No, just suboptimal. It can't be a punt when it was actually leading in the leading the voting, right? You would have taken a blue card where? In that last pick? Like, I feel if anything, you know, the one thing we're sure of is that we're black. So I really wanted to just keep on that here. Like, we're, you know, high alert, still around. Oh, well. Like, we're just going to take the vampire here. Yeah, Zach, like, if we were heavy white and we were looking at Orzhov, Gate, and Final Payment as a black splash, then I'm with you on looking blue there, but I don't really want to pair black and blue as main colors. I mean, you can. If you're going, like, kind of full-on Esper, I suppose you could, but I like staying in our lane and letting the bots solidify in blue around us, and then hopefully that frees up Orzhov for us. Yeah, but we weren't in blue, Zach. We're not even close to. Yeah, I mean, I guess I see what you mean. Like, we're not heavy in a second color, but it's just like our obvious main color doesn't connect with blue, so I just kind of am feeling done on the blue front. And now, do you want transport or expose? Yeah, maybe I'll give you this, Zach. I should have explored the blue a little more deliberately, given how potent Esper can be in the format, and given that we're only in pack 1. Like, we could absolutely pivot towards, and you're right that I do consider Footlight Fiend to be fairly low impact, so that was at least a discussion to have, even if I landed here in the end. And yeah, I like transport a little more. Ooh, nice. This makes me want to try and be a little more aggro with our approach to Orzhov. Hopefully we get some of those grandmas. Possibly splashable, and if not, is Uncommon Vault Progress. Playable, this always makes me happy, right? Like, we're trying to find the open colors, and no, these aren't great, but understand that even the bots work in such a way that they don't say to themselves at pick 12, none of these are playable, therefore I'll take one at random, or I'll take the best one in the abstract as a hate draft. They still literally will take the unplayable green card if they are in green, right? So when you see mono your colors at the end of a pack, it is a very good sign. let's not be Roddy, Zach. I think you were correct to raise the question of, hey, is the upside of blue being the correct lane worth it here over the cost of just not having a Footlight Fiend? Because the cost was pretty low to explore the path that you were talking about. For here, yeah, we take the Scavenger. Well, it's not, we might not be, so let's say there's one other black-white drafter at the table. There might be two, it's possible, but the way that multiple cards can be missing from your color pairs, even though you're in the right lane, is that the bots are capable of splashing, of being able to say, well, I am blue-white, but this is a black-white card. It is a half-color card, and therefore I should look at it, because if it is very powerful, I will consider splashing it. Now, the bots are not smart enough to actually identify that Get the Point is a splashable card and Grandma is not. They only know, oh, this is half on color, and therefore if it is powerful enough, I should consider it. So that's the kind of decision a bot could make that would snag gold cards out of a pack that you wanted, even though they are not actually in your lane. Yeah, I think I know what Paul is talking about there, and I'll speak to that in a second here. Let's make this pick. Yeah, though I think Bladebrand will probably wheel. This is splashable and is could be considered on that front. The Verity Circle is, of course, 20 gems, so let's not forget about that. We can just snatch up some gems. And Carpe, I'm gonna. It was it Hexstar or Carpe that did the table of gem grind, rare drafting gem value. Hey, Silo, or is it Silo? Maybe it was Silo. Was it Silo? So many people are so helpful to my stream that I can lose track of it, but I am so thankful to all of the viewers and subs who contribute to what we do here. Yeah, let's take Spirit here. Might have been correct to take gems, but we'll take the Spirit. And here we have another opportunity at gems, but there's a summary judgment. Yeah, Silo. Well, thank you, Silo. So what we may take a look at that later, but I think what I haven't done my additional layering on it. I want to, so Silo worked out a table that shows where you could say, okay, I'm a 60% win rate player, and I think summary judgment adds N win percentage to each game I play. You can use the table to figure out whether that estimated win percentage generates more gem value for you in the long run than the 20 gems that you get straight up for taking the shaman. And what I want to do is use some of the insider knowledge I have in terms of having seen draft data to kind of come up with some examples of where a card might fit on that range, so that you can be better about estimating the impact of an individual card on your success, and then use that to decide whether you want to be taking a card for power or taking a card for gems. And of course, chat never wants to do the EV thing and take gems because it's hard. I want this too. It's probably EV correct to take the shaman. Maybe I'll use this as an example. In fact, here I'm going to screenshot this, and maybe I'll use this as a compelling, because I think this is a pretty good example of the tough spots you find yourself in when you know that rare drafting has value, but you really love Magic and just want to take the card that is for your deck. And so I really want to better understand this choice and at least be able to make it eyes wide open. You can understand, you know what, this has better gem value, but I'm taking this because I'm here to play today, and that's totally cool. I just want people to be able to have the right numbers in that spot. Which shaman are we talking about? Oh, the red rare. Again, like, because we're not playing the shaman, so therefore it was a question of 20 gems or a very good removal spell in our colors. And because effectively we are here to play, right? It's a tough line. I mean, part of the point of my stream is to point out these tension points between what you're here for, you know? So, you guys want another spirit, but I think, man, I guess we can count on this to wheel. I'm going to risk it with you. I think this is a significantly better card, actually, for the deck than the spirit, but I believe we'll get this back. I don't think the bots value it highly, and that's effectively what Paul is talking about. Yeah, Plague White is quite nice, but is also likely to wheel. And this maybe does make Cry playable, and we could pick up other Cries. That's what Murario is suggesting. But it only buffs up the flyers, so it's not like it protects your grandmas from Cry or anything. But we'll take it and try and wheel the 2. And Racketeers is okay, but it's no grotesque demise. We'll happily snap up another removal spell. This looks like a spot for a gate. Yeah, nothing here comes close in power level for this deck than just a gate in that spot. We can take another Footlight Fiend. We can take one of these two kind of weak mid-range drops. I guess we just want another Footlight Fiend. It's possible we get on a run of jugglers in pack 3 or something that makes us really want these drops. We might not play this, but I think it's the only realistic pick for us out of that pack. Dead Revels is great to see. We're still heavily black. You know, we could take the Daggercaster and I guess we could take the Panther. The Panther's kind of the grown-up pick here because it is on color, but our only white cards are Summary Judgment and a couple of Spirits and a Final Payment. We could cut the Spirits, run the 2 gates and a Plains, and end up being Rakdos from here. We totally could do that. We're like at exactly the halfway point. Yeah, the Daggercaster survives. It's true. Most viewers are looking to be grown-ups here. Okay, I'll be a grown-up with you. Here's a Blade Brand that would have comboed with the last pick, but it's a fine pick here as well. And I'm going to take another Blade Brand or second Kitty. Actually, Kitty does help with future jugglers, so that's not nothing. But 2 Blade Brands could be the start of comboing. Have I played a Shade at all this set? No, I don't consider it playable. I can't. There may be a deck where I have the 5 jugglers and just didn't end up with the stuff to activate it, where I might even try, but it is so hard to even get it through on turn 3. Like, I'm really trying hard not to play that card. So there's more support for Blade Brand than the Kitty. I'm not exactly feeling that, but we can do it. I'll do it. Kitty's pretty underwhelming, I admit. Here we're just taking Vault Progress. I suppose, given that I said we could still be red, I should have been looking at that from a we might be red standpoint, but I don't think we are. Officer versus Portal. Officer is so replaceable that I'd rather have an option with Portal where we might come up with something clever to do with it before the end of the draft. Cindervines for gems. Angelic Exaltation could be good here. We have kind of this deck right now that would make use of it, and that we're kind of clunky control-y. What have we done here? Oh, we have a bunch of small things. How are we winning? Like, Exaltation kind of answers that question. Would love Grandma on the team, but I think we just take the Exaltation here. I'm going to skip on gems. I think this pick, is, like, given where this deck is at, I think this becomes an important, a very important card for the deck. And one thing about rare drafting, I think you're going to have more success rare drafting in colors like Gruul and Rakdos, where largely what you're trying to do is put a bunch of replaceable 2s and 3s and 4s and kind of curve out and apply pressure. And it really doesn't matter whether you're applying pressure with this 4-drop or this 4-drop, you know, you're just trying to curve and go. Then you can get away with a lot of rare drafting because your deck is so homogeneous and samey. When you get into a control deck, though, the impact that a card like Angelic Exaltation has on your win percentage goes up because you're going to be playing deeper into games and casting it more often. There's also a splashable get the point. So that's a factor when you're trying to come up with that number of how does this card impact my win percentage. I think one thing we're going to have to consider is this deck looking to go long, or is this deck winning or losing in fairly short order? In which case, I think it impacts the kind of impact a card like this can have on your overall win percentage. Verity Circle actually looks like the pick here. We can take gems here. There's a splashable binding and a meh Racketeers that may even wheel. There's a gate to help with the splash, but like nothing here is exciting at all. And I think these are the kind of the slam dunk gem opportunities that we should be aware of. And there's a juggler we can grab. I was hoping to get 1 or 2 of these. Start here, hope for another. Nothing amazing. Another land that could support a splash, but we don't even have anything red we're interested in splashing. And we're not casting this, so I guess it's just the Infiltrator. Everybody, yeah, this is classically one of those that yeah, we can take the Gate or the Infiltrator, but we're pack 3, pick 4, and we're at 22 playables with what we've got here, and I don't love all of them. Like, we probably still don't want to end up playing this, or like this, maybe even not that. Although Debtor's Transport gets a lot better with the Exaltation. Yeah, we could take a Sphinx. That's not bad. I tend to dismiss this card because I usually have something better, but we kind of don't here, and we are going long enough, I think, in our approach to this game that we could justify the Sphinx. I'm down. Let's take the Sphinx. I haven't run the Sphinx in like a long, long time, but this might be the deck for it. Here we have a Consign or another Ill-Gotten. Again, we're not super aggressive, but I think we can run the second Ill-Gotten here. Don't we have an Expose? Oh, we don't have an Expose yet, so we could take an Expose. This is probably Wheel, though. Let's take the Ill-Gotten and wheel the Expose. Yeah, that's true. And maybe that dude will wheel. Oh, wow. Take a third Demise, sure. Maybe too many Demises. Maybe cut a Demise for that second final payment. Nice Plague White here with the final fresh pack of the draft. Mark or Messenger. We might be in... Nah, we're not going to splash Carnival. It's not... Carnival's a pretty aggro card. I think we want that. East wants Messenger. Some support for the Mark. About 2/3 for the Messenger right now. We do have double Spirit, and we're looking to make Spirits. So I think the Messenger fits in with the Spirit Exaltation stuff we have going. We're pretty deep on 4. But Dead Revels is really a 2, so it's not that bad. I like a transport over a night, although maybe again with the double spirit and exaltation, this is a place where we would consider the knight, but would we play it over the Sphinx? We've already got 1/7. I'm certainly not playing 2. So I would only vote for the knight if you thought we would actually run it over the Sphinx, given what we have going here. But yeah, I don't think we play a second transport, so maybe it just doesn't matter. So if we're not playing a second transport, though, we should just take the vault progress at the very least. See you, Zach. Another Thirsting Shade to ignore for an Arrester's Zeal that we won't play. Trumpeter. Nah, we'd have to play red to make it worth it. I'll take another portal on the possibility. Here's that Expose that we can consider main. And an Imp we can consider main. And another Locket that I doubt will make it. Only 40 gems today on the grind, but we made some deliberate choices towards deck quality today. That's fine. Mainly, I want people to be informed. You need to just as long as you're. It's like the LR thing, you know, having a plan and having a reason that you make the choices you make. I just want to make sure we understand the lay of the land and are making informed choices. And I'm going to take a brief moment here to note this in my spreadsheet. We ended up kind of white-black, I'd say. Black. That was 0 gold and 750. Ranked. And that's a gem grind of 40. All right. Yeah, no Thralls is very noticeable here. But Exaltation turns all of our spirits into Thralls, so you know what I mean. They don't drain, but I like what Exaltation does for this deck a lot. Let's look at it from this view, though. And check our numbers. Only 13 creatures. Yeah, that's not a total surprise. We drafted a lot of removal. And we need to cut 4, so we need to really cut spells. I think we actually have to cut a Blade Brand. If not both. The Expose misses the cut here. I think we need to keep the Revels because of our low creature count, even though it also makes it harder to set up. I could cut the Locket, but we are running a 7, so it's not outrageous to want that. Maybe we cut both Blade Brands. We're not really doing too much with the Blade Brand thing, and we have a Panther and an Enforcer. We have some Death Touch on the ground already. Spirit doesn't seem great, no, but a 2/4 flyer, vanilla test this, and a 2/4 flyer for 4 is fine. Just because you're not loaded with flyers doesn't mean you cut a 2/4 flyer for 4. You just say, could be better. Yeah, that's fair. We cut, but I just was trying not to drop too much lower on creatures. But the fiend brand combo is a legit argument for keeping that in. We could cut a Demise. Demise is great, but it is limited to power 3 or less. And if you run into the big game decks, you're going to be much happier to have had a final payment. So we could do something like that. You want to Expose over the Locket. We are defensive, so I'd say more we're mid-range. We're going to play... This is one of those decks that's going to play out how we draw it. Whether we're going long or kind of getting a little bit aggro depends on how it plays out. But if we cut the Locket, I almost want to cut the Sphinx and just play a Debtor's Transport. What if we did this and that? And what else? Grotesque could go back in. or the Footlight Fiend, or the Second Blade Brand, or the Expose. So let's go deck building view. Silo wants Demise back. It's probably going to find its targets aren't, isn't it? And we could do that. And then we're looking at what do you think? Is that good enough? Calling that a deck? I think I can call that a deck. Let's start here. Call it Mise. And look, I named the deck, therefore I should change my view to the battlefield view like a boss. Look at that. Format is best of one. Everything else is right? Yes, everything else is correct. Here we go. See ya, Fiddles. Thanks for hanging. Yeah, double Ds. Maybe we'll give the Knight a chance over the transport in one of these games here. And in the meantime, when we draw the transport, let's ask ourselves whether we would prefer it to be the Knight. Not because it will give us an end-all be-all answer, but because it's a data point and it's the fundamental question worth stopping to consider. Let's throw down another swamp. No need to let him know that we are Orzhov yet. Makes very little difference, but whatever. Tiny edges. Technically correct. Might even be technically correct here if we don't have a double white. And we're not casting a spirit, so yeah, we'll hide our second color for a little longer. And really hope they play something that we want to demise. Nope. But looks like they're not doing anything, so we're going to attempt the spirit now. It may get countered, could get quenched, could get blue-blued. I forget what that one is called. I always forget. Capture, thank you. Oh, slime bind. Yeah, that's cool. Happy to get a spirit down. Actually, Slimebind kind of stinks for us because we have the Dead Revels. We want them to kill our creatures if they're going to, you know, eliminate them from relevance. All right, we're happy to see a Locket play. And I think we can beat that. Just race that out. Spirits are fine. Not super exciting, but fine. I could demise my own white. That is a legal magic play. I do not deny it. Ram looks like something we can demise. Ooh, or the hybrid. I guess we better get the hybrid before it does a bunch of stuff on the Ascendancy and does a bunch of stuff by being huge. We cannot double play, unfortunately. And we could wait for them to attempt to adapt. It has some risk. If they play around it, you can have that judoed on you, where now you can't put shields down, or they get to adapt and make it a 6/6. So, but we have enough things to do and enough land that I think we can keep the demise up. So yes, we will make them. We'll make them do it, and also I want to chump with the Plague White anyway to get that into the graveyard. But whether or not to do that, whether or not to try and catch them adapting with the Grotesque Demise is a tricky question that is case by case, and you got to ask yourself. Just make sure you're not going to get that flipped on you and be in a really awkward spot where now you can't spend mana, because if you do, they get to make a 6/6 that you can't stop. They can't adapt this turn anyway. So we're kind of just winning on that front. And now they're giving us this window to, like, take out the Ram and or the hybrid, and I really feel like we should do this here. The Ram is less scary than the hybrid. I'm just going to take the hybrid out. Or try to. They might have a pump spell for it that'll stop this anyway. Yes, legally can cast is a lot different from should cast. So we're going to attack with the Spires and drop the Transport, since Dead Revels currently only gets one creature. But ideally we trade off the Transport and then get that back. And again, it is not the end-all be-all answer to the question, but we were asking ourselves whether we wanted the Knight or the Transport. And here's a spot where we obviously greatly prefer the Transport because we can actually cast it. And there you go. I mean, LR talks all the time about how big a difference there is between 6 and 7, and it's not even one turn. It's not like, oh, I'll cast this 6-drop on 6 and this 7-drop on, or this 7-drop on 7. We need to find an untapped land to even be able to cast the potential Knight that we would have had in our hand here. Now, we did have other plays, so it's not like we had nothing to do. Unfortunately, we'd have to non-bow ourselves to get the 2 life out of this, but the 2 life's not that important. Anyway. So far, 1 to the Debtor's Transport over the expensive uncommon Knight. Oppo deep in the tank, always a great sign for us, especially if that Ram can't get to 4/4. It can't even, like, ideally they would get the Ram to be able to get through the Transport. But yeah, I don't know what they have here, but I don't think they win by sitting back and waiting for spirits to clean them up. These spirits. The spirits coming out of this are going to be even better. I wonder if did they have that before and just choose not to use it? If so, why not? Maybe they just drew that. So there's our 7th. So we would have not had these, but like now we would have done this play last turn, and then now we'd be casting the 7/7, which would be pretty good here. Or not 7/7, the 7 mana dude. It's a 4/4, I think. So anyway, just trying to keep an eye on that one. They're itching to do something here. Yeah, we're going to Revels here, of course, and then see what we want to get back. Probably, like, we can play the Plague White right now, but we can play the Carrion Imp right now as well, so it's not like we don't have a play. So let's just take the two big things. And we can even play the Spirit right now. Or the Carrion Imp. They have a creature dead yet? No. Doesn't matter yet, though, either. We'll go ahead and play the Spirit again. Yeah, Revels is such a depressing card to see against black decks. How many times have you felt like, okay, I think I'm stable, and then they dead Revels, and you're just like, ooh, there goes stability. Make him have it. I think we can figure out to attack. Let's see what they've got to stay alive. Yeah, Duelist keeps him alive. I think they want to block a... I would want to block a... Oh, I guess, yeah, so that works. It's like, they need to keep the Duelist around, but they had a way to do that. So, just transport here's fine. Go big. Ding! Notch number 1. Not a lot of super high power stuff, but also not shippable in any way, shape, or form. This is a Sneep. It's just not powerful yet. This is nice to... hopefully we make powerful, but is not powerful yet. And this is always nice to have early, since there's a limited number of things that can be hit by this, although an incredible number of, like, 5-drops get hit by the Demise, which is why it's so well regarded. And because we don't necessarily need it on 3, I'm going to lead with Footlight Fiend into Enforcer into Gate right now, unless we get something else to do on 3. Green deck makes me happy to have Final Payment. A deck that can't play a second land also makes me pretty happy. When it's my opponent's, that is. Doesn't really make me happy. Makes me sad that Magic has the number of non-games it does in service of the greatest game ever designed, but that's where we're at. It creates some non-games. Well, maybe the Oppo will turn it into a game here. Not a bad start. We're going to keep attacking. Trade either of these creatures for that one, and then add a Spirit of the Spires to the board. I mean, they missed a land drop, so they need to get four more lands deep into their library before they can even flip, morph the hybrid, so we're not super worried here. Couple of hybrids, not any more land, so that's a problem for Oppo. We'll continue to make the same offer. Add a white, and then we'll have Grotesque Demise and Final Payment up as needed. If they try to take out one of our creatures, we can respond with Final Payment. So earlier somebody was asking about a Paul Riesel tweet in which, to paraphrase him, he said, drafting on Arena is like old school Magic where it's all about who's in on the joke or something like that. Again, that's paraphrased. And what he means is that the rule of thumb in the old days of drafting, and when I say old days because there just weren't the... oh wow, we could sack a Fiend to take out the hybrid and the Caracal. Let's do that. That just seems so good. Anyway, before there was so much content for people to consume to help them get better at limited. Yeah, so I'm going to do this. We're going to sack a creature. We're going to target this to kill it. Actually, wait. Let's just target the one that could block. In which case, it doesn't matter. Like, we can wait. Yeah, that's fine. We can wait. Let's do it in a turn. Sorry, I got off of my Rietzel tangent here as I figure this out. I'll get back on it in a second. So then let's do it here. We're going to sacrifice creature enchantment. We're going to kill this hybrid. We're going to sack the Footlight Fiend to do it, and in doing so, take out the Caracal. We still don't have enough to bring back yet. We'll keep the Demise up. Okay, so the old rule of drafting was, or the metagame, the rule of thumb about drafting metagame before information was heavily available online, and you could listen to limited resources, watch pros draft in videos. You know, you were really just looking for whatever information you had available to you. The people who are deep and serious, so the Rietzels of the world, generally had the feeling that basically you knew a format was solved when you would sit down at the draft table and the rule was draft X unless everybody else at the table also knows the rule to draft X. And when you're a pro, basically the only time everybody else at the table knows the rule of draft X is when you're in a competitive environment. And most of the time you have enough people at the table who don't know what's going on, that you just kind of force the thing you know to be the best, and you're going to give yourself this bare minimum good deck because you know enough people at the table aren't going to know the secret and are therefore going to hook you up enough to make it worth leaning heavily towards it, if not forcing it. I think the poster child for this is the Urza's block drafting, where back in the, this was early in the days where Wizards was even attempting to create sets with limited in mind, so they were very bad at it. And this is a set that had, I think, 2 Dark Banishing effects and a Wrath at common. And the Wrath at common was the what was it called? A Plague, or I can see the old art in my head, but I'm Pestilence. Sorry. So the rule, the Rietzel rule in that draft was draft black unless everybody at the table knows that you're supposed to draft black. And that type of mindset, do the best thing unless you're certain that everybody else knows what the best thing is what Paul was talking about in that tweet. And it does translate very well to the arena analogy he's talking about, because in the case of the bots, they never learn that you're supposed to draft black until you teach it to them, in which case now they're making some other mistake that you can exploit endlessly. And the introduction of personalities helps with that. The bots now have color preferences when they sit down, so that it's not just going to be some rote, predictable. The bots do the exact same thing with these picks exactly every time. That's boring and really exploitable. So they got away from that. But you still ultimately have a fixed system that does not evolve to match the metagame that you're seeing. And so effectively, every time you sit down against arena bots, it's like sitting down to take advantage of FNM players in 1998 who don't know what's up. So that's what that was about. All right. Dionysus. Yeah, I deleted yesterday's broadcast because I accidentally left the stream running for like maybe 2 hours after I quit. And then towards the end, I was back working at my computer with a live mic streaming to like 7 people or something who thankfully saved me from adding to what, I told one of my top 10 most embarrassing moments stories this morning when we went on air about the starting song of the day. Well, I could have added yesterday to that list if I'd kept the VOD up, because I was just who knows, like, I am a self-talker, especially like my kids are gone. My wife is gone. I'm alone in the house. I talk to the dog. I talk to myself, and I'm terrible to myself. I don't know how you guys treat yourself, but if you catch me muttering to myself, you probably think I'm abusing somebody because you idiot. What the hell are you doing? What are you even thinking? Do you know anything at all? Like, that's me talking to myself. So who knows what I was saying to a hot mic being broadcast to the internet. And so what I did is like, I hit end. I ended the stream. I quickly pulled the full draft from yesterday off, and then I just deleted it. I didn't even look. So for you 7 whoever who bailed me out of that embarrassing situation yesterday, I thank you, and I am so glad Dionysus does not get to see it. But if you want to watch the draft from yesterday, that is up. So you can go to my videos page, go to complete limited events, and a very frustrating thing, it auto-populates at the end of the list instead of the beginning. So in order to find the most recent stuff, you need to go into it and scroll down to the bottom. But Dionysus, you can actually watch the draft yesterday, but I'm not going to let you watch me flog myself verbally in front of my computer for a half hour or whatever. I appreciate that. You're just gonna have to miss this one. Okay, let's keep going. That's my nightmare too. So like yesterday was my nightmare come true. I've been waiting for that to happen. I'm like every day I'm check for the blinking mute light, and I try to check for the end stream, and somehow I went 0 for 2. Sometimes I go 0 for 1 and come back. Like I've had some extended streams where it sat on that ending soon screen for a couple hours or whatever, but my mic was muted, so it didn't matter. This time it was like, it was on left monitor and had mute off. So I was broadcasting myself working on my computer. It was like the worst it could have been. I don't know. I'll think about that, Dionysus. Nothing leaps to mind. We'll keep this. We have a 3 and a 4 and some removal. We need some white, but this isn't the worst. I don't even want... I'm kind of curious, but I'm also... Oh, nice that we found a 2. I'm curious what the most embarrassing thing I said yesterday was, but please don't type it in the chat. We can whisper it to me if you think if I said anything particularly noteworthy funny. You could whisper that to me. I'd be curious, but mostly I just want to put that behind me and pretend it never happened. Yes, I saw. Actually, where I saw it was so my Streamlabs shows me. This is concerning. They're a gate deck, so we could be running ourselves into a Gates Ablaze, but we're not going to like not cast our creature out of that fear. Anyway, I saw the chat continues to flow in the windows I had open, and I think I just caught something in the corner of my eye that had a little bit of the chat window that made it clear what was going on. Man, it could have been so much worse. Like, could have been so much worse. Hey, Peas. So I'm looking at, do we Inheritance or Demise here? If we attack with everything, they obviously trade Vamp for Goblin, and then we Inheritance, and they're at 16 with no board and about to be drained. And if they do have Gates Ablaze, we don't mind that trade anyway. I'm gonna... Also, it's Gruul. We don't know for sure that their future creatures are going to be 3 power. I'm going to do it. 5 face is very tempting, especially with the life gain. It, like, almost gives us a free final payment. Yeah, East, that was the other option, right? I don't know. That was close. That we don't really mind. Swamp, not our favorite card to see, but... Do we re-up the Vampire or start ticking down with the Inheritance? My feeling here is that if we play the Vampire, it's not going to have a good attack next turn anyway. So I'm going to IGI on the prediction that the Vamp is not going to have good attacks. If we were sure that Vampire would be able to attack unimpeded, then it would be correct to play the Vampire. Or if we had, like, white mana so that we knew we could final payment out of the way, whatever, but we don't, so... Obviously, we just need some white mana here, and we'd be thrilled. It would allow us to play the Transport and the Spirit and the final payment and really close out this game. All right. I think we could beat him with half our colors tied behind our back, but I don't mind a fair fight either. The Transport maximizes our mana. And so even though we finally got our white, it may be the play here, although we just take out the Rendhorn and then they're in serious trouble, right? So let's just do that. See you, Silo. Right? Because we can't attack here, and if we take out the Rendhorn, we just get a clean attack. Unfortunately, we just don't spend a lot of our mana when we do that. Yeah, the other... Alright, we'll go ahead and play the big guy. We'll max our mana, and then we have a similar attack next turn, just with the extra benefit of the Transport on the team. If we draw another Plains, then we get 2 spells as well. Alright, they'd had enough. Tried to tempo themselves back into the game, but couldn't find the way. Rank up! Woohoo! Oh, shoot. I don't think we spun our quest, so that was a dumb mistake that might have cost us a full 250 gold. I think we just completed a Destroy Creatures quest that we didn't spin. Yeah, that's too bad. I forgot to do my morning maintenance, and those clicks are actually worth about 50 gold, so the EV on that click was probably between 25 and 50 gold that I failed to click. Record is correct now. Hey, there's our exaltation and a bunch of removal, but we'll keep this. This is not where I want to see IGI. I want to see IGI after I've dumped some creatures to the board, but I like this combo. I think this is a fine place to start. We'll get there. We'll get there. Anytime soon. I don't know if we'll do it today, Sco. We did yesterday. It won the voting yesterday. We are, for better or for worse, doing pretty well so far. So we're 3-0 here. If we continue to win, we might not start another draft today, but we'll see. See, we got creatures. Ooh, that's a fine target to demise, especially with the exile clause, so we'll get rid of that. Peas of Crab, are you top 1,000 Mythic on any of your accounts, Ryan? Are you aiming to participate in Mythic weekends? I'm aiming to participate in competitive Magic endeavors in the same way most people are, which is to say, hey, if I'm going to take advantage of qualifying tournaments that present themselves to me, and I'm going to play my game, and if it gets me there, great. But I don't have any expectations of that. We're going to drop IGI here after an attack. And it's really difficult for me to pursue rank with the way that I currently play Arena. Oops, I played the wrong... I was talking and casting and played the wrong thing. Well, I think we'll offer this trade, or we could... Hold on, I'll get back to that commentary in a second. Just trying to figure out if we want to offer. It says... Yeah, so this becomes a 2-3, and they would trade. No, I kind of like that guy sitting back. We'll just drop the IGI and keep going. So, no, the Gem EV is pretty similar, actually. But when you play on two accounts, and I'm a busy dad, I do most of my play right here on stream. Like, this is one of the reasons I am streaming, is because I know I'm going to play a certain amount of digital Magic every day, because that's who I am, so I might as well stream it. This is kind of part of my thought process that got me into this to begin with. But I don't have infinite time to draft and to pursue those types of heights. I also don't think I am a top 1,000 drafter in the world. So if I made top 1,000 Mythic or whatever, it would be because I got lucky for a month or whatever. It's not that I think that I'm particularly that caliber of player. I'm very good. I just don't know if I don't think I'm top 1,000 or whatever. I think so. Yeah, there's the Mythic ranks are 1,000 people per in Constructed and Limited, right? So between the challenges of caring about rank when you're doing multiple accounts, the challenges of the amount of time I have to even pursue this, and the self-awareness of where I'm at as a Magic player and what my success profile is likely to be should I make it to a competitive stage, has me treating it like a thing that if it happened would be cool. I'd love to, like, if I got if this stream got built up successfully and I built up an audience and they wanted me at some sort of invitational in the future, that would be sweet. But, yeah, just same below 650. I think if you get limited, you're in the top 1,000. Okay, well, maybe, I'm fine with where I'm at right now. Maybe we'll make that a goal in the future. But it's not too important to me right now to pursue that. Like, I'm pursuing the things I want to pursue about this experience, which is exploring the economic model and how the average player should approach it. And then having fun and drafting and talking, you know? Mythic, schmythic, it's like whatever. If it happened, fantastic. I just haven't made it a goal. Yes. I should remember I can actually sacrifice... I often forget that you can sacrifice an enchantment with this. There was a time I almost punted because I didn't realize I could sack the captive audience with it. So that's a real thing. Let's go ahead and cycle this. I was kind of being chatty, but I should have cycled this on my turn so that we could have cast something if we draw a castable. Looks like we're not getting punished because we were going to draw planes, but yeah. So here we are. This is my nightmare scenario. Ill-gotten with no board. I could sack this, but let's just take the life payment here and get rid of the big boy. Need some action, please. That qualifies. This is really concerning. Great to see Oppo not play something with haste, but we'll see if they drop a +1/+1 creature here. Yeah, they're going for the plussed Gravelhide. Oh, come on, deck. We just need a little bit of help. All right, we're kind of flooding out of this one. It's going to happen sometimes. Can we attack? If they spend mana, this becomes 7 damage. If they spend all of this on like a 5-drop and haste it, we at least have the Ill-Gotten activation as a backup plan. I don't want to put Spirit in front of a pumped Gravelhide or a Grudian anyway, so let's go ahead and attack. They have a Gruul Locket. So, and I'm not going to front that we have anything here. We're just going to break glass in case of emergency. That really doesn't add any extra damage over that. All right, well, that's unfortunate, but they kind of should have just gone to my face there. Like, that's weird. I think they had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They had 10 damage to my face that turn. That's interesting. Doesn't look like we're getting this one. We might need to just take the 4 life now. What are we hoping to draw? Let's consider that before we untap. We get Dead Revels. We have 9 mana and could get back Panther and Spires and cast 1. We're not running Cry, right? We took that out of the deck. I'm not seeing it, folks. I don't think there's a draw for us here that I can find. I guess if we go ahead and take it, yeah, we need to go ahead and leave it because if we draw Juggler here, that's one of our outs. Like, one of our outs was to draw Blade Juggler into something else, and then maybe we have the means to stay at 2. This actually could help as well. We still get our IGI activation and some lifelink, so let's see if this gives us another turn. I haven't done the math. It almost doesn't matter other than giving us the ability to scoop earlier. We're just going to throw it in front of the gravel hide. Now that's just dead, even with 7. Yeah, they have a 7 here, so even with the life gain, we are toast. Oh no, because we get to activate that too, so we're not dead yet. We're basically dead. Actually, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, we can't. We have to block that is the problem. We're kind of just casting spells here. Yes, we're not dead, but there's nothing we could draw to prevent death. All right, somebody got us. I think I'm liking the transport over the knight. I think it fits in this deck nicely. The knight does as well, but I really like the... I guess they both fit in the deck nicely, but I really do like 6 mana over 7, I think. Another one that I'm going to reluctantly keep here and try and make work. Can't quite go to 6 on this. Alright, now if we draw a basic land, we should be able to juggle on time. Alright, we got there. Now they can still block, in which case we have... What would we do if they block? We could demise and get through... They probably just trade here. They missed a land drop. Or no, wait, or we're... No. No, that was... They didn't miss a land drop. That was just their second turn. Because we could demise the Orator and try and set up for Juggler next turn. We could also just offer that trade and be happy with that and have Demise ready. Then we have... Hopefully we get IGI down and then Juggler is auto-activated. I'm going to go ahead and attack. If they don't block, we get the Juggler. If they do block, we have Demise ready. Right on, Double Ds. We'll catch you tomorrow. Good meetings to you. Alright, give us a nice target to demise, please. Unfortunately, I'm afraid it's going to be like, they're just going to play a Juggler here. They are somewhere in the neighborhood of a 3-1 Orzhov deck that's attacking on turn 3 with 3 mana up, so pretty good guess that a Juggler is coming. No, a Veteran. Interesting. Well, I'm going to go ahead and demise it. I would rather get something like with Afterlife or something, but smoke them if you got them. And now, in fact, we're going to Blade Brand looking for land. That's the other thing we could have done, is a Blade Brand cycle. No luck. Now if we get a land, though, I think we'll go with the Spirit. See if that lives. It will similarly activate the Juggler, but provides more pressure than the Inheritance. Jelly of the Pontiff, but extra jelly of the 4 lands. If they give us a window where they're tapped out, we may final payment the Pontiff, but let's not bother trading the payment for a Panther right now. I could see them going land here, and with us being mana screwed, playing a Thrall and hoping that they're good for a turn, you know, going shields down. But it doesn't look like it. They're being smart about it. Now that they've got a Ministrant, maybe we should have just... nah, I wouldn't have done anything. They would have just sacked the Panther. That's the problem. Alright. A little late, but better than never. Probably going to file final payment... Except this is such an awkward final payment cost. Like, paying 5 to stop 1 doesn't make sense. Attempting to pay 5 to stop 2 just creates 2 new threats in the air. And attempting to final payment the Pontiff just leads to one of these dudes dying for that purpose anyway. So, do we just take 5 here? I think we just take 5. And we have to hope to create a creature stabilization path to victory here. That is concerning, but if we can survive the next turn, which I don't know if we can, especially we can't if we pay 5 life here, so we just have to untap. We need this spirit to... Because if we, let's see, right now we play the spirit, we go to 8, they attack with everything, we block a 2, they go 7, 6, 5 on us, they sack this and get us to 1. That's not dead, but then we have to untap and not die ourselves. That's a pretty tall order. I think this one is over. So maybe we play the Syndicate Messenger. And then if it dies, at least we have another creature. And it does the same blocking work. So I guess we play the Messenger and see what comes of this. But I think we're already dead. We just got hung up on mana a little bit too long there. I bit the back of my tongue this morning, and it's got that thing where it's just swollen enough that I'm going to now bite it for the rest of my life. Just like the rest of my life. Ryan problems. But it makes enunciation extra challenging today. Well, at least they're just like... They're not just charging in, but yeah, there you go. They just need to see that they just have to do this. Ooh. Maybe I need like a 1/5 to block the Ministrant. That even doesn't do it. I need an 0/5 to block the Ministrant. 0/3. We go here and make them sack one of the other ones. This gives us this play, makes them choose something to sacrifice, and leaves at least another body behind. I don't think we ran the Cry, that's the thing. We could talk about putting it in for the end run here, but I still think it messes with our stuff too much. We can probably expect to face more Orzhov and Azorius decks in this neck of the woods where it would be more effective. East you're talking about, but then my creature dies? Yes, it does, but we were going to kind of be dead anyway, right? So if they don't get a 6th land, though, we might still be able to keep going here. If we get IGI down, No, then we're just dead. So we got to play creatures again, and we play... So we play this one. Yes, like I said, Bert, I can't really find a line here other than trying to turn my creatures into removal long enough and keeping Oppo off of 6. So they draw their 6th land, we're just dead. Yeah, so we can scoop now. Yep, burst out to a 3-0 start, couple of quick losses, kind of flooded in one, kind of screwed in the other. Deck is doing fine. We're just ran into a couple of tough mana situations there. I'm not sure we're making any changes, but thought we'd come take a look. There's talk of we could bring in the Cry, which hurts Panther, Footlight Fiend, Enforcer, 2 whites, Vampire, and Juggler. So it affects a heavy number of our measly 12 creatures and all of our Afterlife tokens. So that's why I don't think we run it. Still on the no run. We were talking about Knight, but I think the 7 is too oppressive and we would rather just stick with this transport. Yeah, I think we stick. Yeah, Bert, we started, I think the 2 of those, we actually took the Nikya pack 1, pick 1, but mainly as a gem consideration. I don't consider that card to be particularly strong. Then we got a Grotesque Demise, pick 2, and then Rhythm was, no, then I think we got something else. Hey, thank you for the sub, Oni. Yeah, we got something else, and then I think we took Rhythm in a fairly dead pack, but then we got pretty squarely into Orzhov and didn't really look back from there. All right, would love another couple wins here. Getting to 5 plus the grind plus the pack, and then we're like treading water nicely if we can get to 5 wins, you know. Glad to have the creator of the icon have it next to him. Yeah, we'll keep this. I don't want necessarily both of our final payments, but this looks good. And Oppo going to 5 is a hopeful sign for us as well. All right. Finding the land we are starting to need, but it was a little awkward to keep the hand because we need 2 lands, not just 1, before our hand does much. We could pay 5 now, and one reason we might want to is that we're definitely taking 2. So we untap, we play the swamp, we do nothing, we pass the turn and take 2. Then, if we draw a land, we untap and play a Spirit and Messenger, and then that stuff kind of survives. Okay, I think we'll wait. We'll wait. I've talked myself into waiting. I think if we had not drawn a land there, then maybe I do it before we get attacked again. But now with a land, we can start to deploy our flyers and try to use those to stop the 10th District Veteran instead of our removal. Thank you for fixing the shuffler, Bert. Appreciate that a lot. Quench is a possibility here, but whatever. We'll toss it out and see if they got it. Starting here, because we don't mind if it's countered or killed as much as the Spirit. So again, that's great, really. They're down on cards, so trading 1 for 1 with Oppo is really good for us, especially with Dead Revels. And yeah, like, as long as they don't exile it, I say counter away. Counter away. Hey, your lack of preparation for your goat sacrifice is not my problem, Bert. There's a great documentary called Dexter that'll show you exactly how to handle that in the future. So we get a great final payment to take out the big boy, because we get to sack the spirit and then just get it all back with the dead revels. Let's do that now. We're gonna sack a creature, kill this one, sacking this one. And I kind of care so little about the veteran that I want to exalt as opposed to... Or maybe we revels. Let's just get our creatures back now. Let's do that. I like that. We have an overwhelming resource advantage. We just need to leverage it before they kill us, and short of a... Oh, like, that's great for us. Now we can just demise it. Like, this one's over, folks. They need... I shouldn't say that, or I'm going to tempt the gods into showing me how I could lose, but I'll say this, we're in a fantastic spot. Unfortunately, we can't two-spell here, which is kind of annoying. We could spirit, and they have no good attacks without a draw if we spirit. And if they have something on the draw, then we have final payment to sack the spirit in response with. Yeah, we could empty their whole board and everything. I'm gonna, since they're empty-handed, I'm gonna play the spirit with final payment backup, and I think this should be enough to stabilize without even having to use our removal yet. And they showed us that straight up, so thanks for that. Yeah, we're gonna demise that. There's no reason to final payment now. Still no two-spell unless we want to go final payment 4-drop, and I don't now. Now I just want to do this. We could attack and see if they want to race. I think we win the race, even despite how it looks. But if they're going to block. There's no reason to attack here. I just never see Zeal played, really. So I didn't really play around it there. I've seen it a couple times in the format, but not generally at the X and O, X and 1 levels. Well, I'm going to play a creature now. Let's play another creature. Sit on the final payment. Eventually we'll draw some more land here, and then we can do a couple things a turn, and then I'll like where we're at. Oh, right, he had no cards. He had no cards, that's fine. But in general, though, I don't play around it. Well, not a land, but we do get 2 spells here, either way, with Vampire Demise or Demise Juggler, depending on how attacks go. I do like... Let's demise a Pegasus. I'm going to demise a Pegasus so that I can attack with both. Just gotta make sure we don't die. My main thing here is to make sure we don't do anything dumb that kills us, and it's like they're blue, so it's a tough road to... They don't have mass manipulation mana anywhere near it. So I'm going to go ahead and juggle here. I get Vampire here. That might be a slightly safer play. And happy to make this trade. Weakens our exaltation a little bit, but not in a way that matters all that much. And there's our third demise. But we can go Enforcer, Exaltation, and just send in the Spirit. Leaving back the Messenger, because if we use it to block and they do have something, it's the one we want to die the most. They've stopped attacking. We have IGI, we have vampires, and yeah, this is all looking good for us. I think we'll go with a vampire main to add to our Exalted. And we're going to go ahead and demise the Pegasus now. No sense giving them easy outs. I guess the Spirit is slightly better than Destroy Tapped, the Messenger for the Destroy Tapped scenario, but also I just didn't think it really mattered there. Our advantage was sufficiently overwhelming. Cool. Snuck it to 4, so at least we finish above 500 no matter what. Got a booster. Let's check it out. That's right. It only does 3, so it'd be 5 on the next turn. My take on Nikya is that it's a complicated card that's very situational in how good or bad it is, and whether or not the rules text is a upside or liability depends on a lot of things, and all of these factors contribute to a card that's kind of just like a C++. That its average value is in that range, its game-to-game value fluctuates wildly and should be measured accordingly. Yeah, if I'm running Nikya, I certainly hope my deck has at least 18 creatures. I want to be like an 18-plus creature deck in that situation. This is a pretty good 2-drop to draw, but I just want land from here. I mean, not literally nothing but land forever, but I want to cast these beautiful spells. Let's watch this scry. Two bottom, that's good to hear. That stinks. We want land. But at least we have a play. Verity Circle has proven too slow overall. Obviously, if you go super long, you can get there. And I might even board it in best of 3 against creature-based control on control, but it's not a very good card. Yeah, Nikya that gets aura-based removal is the tough one. All right, well, we found our land, and joke's on you, Oppo. We don't have anything to get countered anyway, unless you want to spend your mana. So we're going to pass here. Oh, wow. Thank you. Very bold to cast that into open mana against black like that. And we have another one. How about another... Play one spell that we demise, and then we find a land in IGI. Or we find a land in Spirit, and then... I don't know, there's... I just want land. Just give me land. You can take a slow gate. That is also fine. Love that for our future final payments. That's a final payment we can make. Oppo is showing possible quench mana, so I'm going to offer up a creature so that if it gets quenched, we can at least get it back later, and if not, it's the most pressure we can apply anyway. I also like that this white still supports Exaltation. And let's demise the heck out of that thing before it can get out of range. Almost out of coffee. Which probably means we're close to a short break. This game looks pretty over, but I have been overconfident before. Can't get the 2 spell, so let's go ahead and play the Spirit again. And next turn, if we draw a basic, we get Enforcer plus a 4 or the Transport. Probably just the Transport, really, here. Yeah, we'll do the Transport. I don't think they have Quench. This has been really the first time that I've had the deck in circumstances to play the Transport. It's not a super exciting card, and it doesn't make the cut all the time, but in exactly this kind of deck that we have that's looking for spirits and looking kind of go a more mid-range to control style Orzhov, it's been playing quite well. Yeah, I loved Torment when I saw it, but it is just kind of actively bad. It's we should just remember that it's very format dependent on whether a 6-mana bounce 2 or bounce 3 is going to actually be a good spell. Yeah, maybe I should have made a faster clock. I was just trying to play around all possibilities, you know, just play super conservatively against a hand that looked like we couldn't lose, you know, so I just wanted to make sure we couldn't. Yeah, I didn't do the clock math. I just did what I thought was the most conservative lockdown, avoid snatching defeat from the jaws of victory type play. All right, I asked for 5 wins. We got to 5 wins. That is exciting, and we will see if we can take it all the way, but I'm already happy, so that's great. And that's a nice start. And the Juggler is even better. Hybrid would like threaten to trade, but unless it's a 2/2, the white gets through. And no guarantee they want to trade the white off anyway. We'll offer this. If they take the trade, we have Demise for their next play. If they don't, we get to juggle. Fourth land, excellent to see. We get Spirit next turn, or even Demise Panther, if we prefer. I think this Demise is going to try and eat that hybrid, obviously, unless something more concerning comes along. Was that Oppo failing to play a fourth land, or did we start this game? No, I guess we started, right? So that wasn't a missed land drop. In any case, we're attacking. If they try to get tricksy, we have Demise to 2-for-1 them. Let's see. So that will try and eat the hybrid will now try and eat something. So I'm going to demise the hybrid now. We were likely to demise the hybrid eventually anyway, and doing it before the duelist lands at least lets us get some damage through here, unless they go... No, I guess they get to shrink the white and block the juggler, but we were definitely going to kill the Sora form there. Oh no, they couldn't shrink the white and not get eaten by the juggler, so yeah, they had to take 2, so that was good. Jordanets, thank you for the follow. Glad you're hanging today. Hope you're doing well. Great, more land. Closing in on the transport, and Oppo is out of mana. We don't have anything to mess with a second fairy, and they could very likely have something like that, but we have a way, you know, we have our Dead Revels to find and other good follow-up plays. So even if they do something here to 0-for-1 us or otherwise have a good combat, I like our follow-ups. I mean, that's great, right? Like, we just don't care about that at all. That's like a 3-for-1 for us. They use Duelist and a Stony Strength to kill a creature that already drew us a card. So that's got to be good for us. And we'll go Messenger first. Excuse me. Sorry, I just got this screwed up tongue. It's impacting my job performance. I swear a lot of my verbal stumbling today has been because my tongue is a little bit big. A little puffy. We got ourselves quenched, but whatevs. Mana struggles for Oppo are helping us out this game, and we're going to make sure they continue with the demise. Even if we draw a land, we're going to demise the engineer over playing the transport. This adds to the clock right away, but I felt like that was the thing that lets him potentially get back into the game, and Oppo agrees, scooping to that. Now, it's not, I mean, maybe if I drank some ice water, it would reduce the swelling that's going on in my tongue, but it's just this annoying little corner of the back of my tongue that's a little bit inflated. All right, we're on the cusp. We've made it. 6 or 7, one or the other. We're doing it, chat. That's great. Who needs a paid account? We're just gonna free to play forever. Yeah, this is fine. That gives us a... Oh, I just did it! Ow! I went to put my tongue in the right place to make the TH sound for the number after 2 and just nicked the corner of my tongue. This is the tongue eating stream. I will be eating my own tongue for the rest of my natural life. Demise is pretty risky in the face of Rhythm of the Wild. We might not find something for it, but we can always get the Enforcer if they play something here for Rhythm that we can't get or don't want to get. I'm going to take the 1 even so that we can see. That makes me afraid of Pump, and I'm not going to risk the Demise on a 1-drop that we can get later. That might be blown out by a combat trick. I'm going to keep making creatures over IGI. We'll try to follow with that later. Can you talk more about that, East? Why do you want to play IGI over developing our board with creatures first? What's important here? We can keep the Footlight Fiend because it threatens the Enforcer alone. We can risk the Swamp. I mean, we can cast everything in our hand. Yeah, we'll ditch the land. Yeah, of course we draw our 6, but that's all right. It was the right thing to do. I think we put... Here is Fiend or Demise. Fiend, Demise, or IGI are kind of our choices here. We don't have anything to get back there yet. I mean, I would argue that creatures help us race better than IGI in that spot. I mean, I guess that was why I didn't understand. Yeah, I'm down with Fiend with Demise at the ready, although we were talking, like... I'm going to go ahead and Demise now on the Enforcer. And I'm going to block. Doesn't have trample, right? So we can prevent some damage and keep the race in our favor here. And then, especially if we draw a land, like, yeah, that's great. We'll go IGI here. Let's see. If we take them down to 10, 9, 8, 7, this is effectively 6... but we're pretty far from actually sacking this, so maybe this isn't the play. And what do we got here? Only 1 creature there. Let's leave the Messenger back. We are going to play the IGI here, but I'm going to leave the Messenger back. We can we can chump with the Messenger, whoa, or we can final payment a Mythic Bomb. Let's see. We're going to go... That's got Trample, so this actually stops the most damage. And cool, we have Plague White and Final Payment. And we can I'm a little worried. You know, this continues to make creatures a very big threat. And we could leave this back for safety in case of a hasty rhythm thing that we also need to deal with. Yeah, let's be super safe here. But maybe that's the difference. This is a critical, because we hope to take 0 off of these two by block and final payment kill. So then our only damage off of this would be off of whatever creature they attack past with. And like worst case, it's going to be like a Wrecking Beast. And it becomes like a 7/7 haste, which I think we can actually withstand. So no, I think we need to put the white in front of the demon and sack it in order to get minimize the damage here. We'll see. See what they do. Okay, so now we'll just... at least this prevents the 2 damage as well. So we're going to take 5 from the demon, but we can withstand that. It also costs them being able to play anything hasty. All right, now I think we need to... Let's take a look at our yard now. We've got... Yeah, we're going to Revels back some chumps. So we do this. And... Now I think we have to attack because we go 6 to 5, untap 4, and finish them off. Although if we still get that with the Spirit next turn if we don't need it. So actually let's leave it back to potentially block. If we don't need to, great. Then we go attack, ping, win if we draw a land. But I'm going to be super conservative here. Yeah, I know I need a land to finish. I'm saying if we draw a land. Like, do we want to do anything to set up winning if we draw a land? Here we're going to take definitely a Plague White. And we'll take a... If we don't draw a land, what do we want to do next turn? We're going to want to probably just have a messenger. I'll take the messenger. More chumps. I'm going to make them, I'm going to just trade here. Like... They have to, if they have a trick, okay. But this is, yeah, I think we had to there. That's rough. Maybe holding that back was wrong. Yeah, darn it, that it really cost us. Although if they draw a land, we're not dead. So let's drop the transport and hope we're not dead. Yeah, you have a good point, but yeah, there was a lot of factors in considering that situation, but we might just be dead here, we might not. I'd have to reconsider that decision to understand if it was correct or not, but this looks hopeful. Are we Dob? Or they are? I'm dead. Why am I dead? Oh, because I'm at 2. Sorry, I thought I was at 3, folks. Sorry. I thought I was at 3. Right. I was at 3. They gave it haste. Okay. Well played, Oppo. We had one tough choice there. Yeah. I think this could be one of those spots where the better players in the world win this one. And this becomes the difference between my... I was looking last night at Deathsea's. Deathsea has a similar spreadsheet to mine. Let's go left monitor for a moment here. So we see, like, if we put in the record here, even we add 6 and 3 to this one, you can see that I'm a 60% player. I win. It's been hovering at 60 for a long time now. It kind of is a pretty good reflection of my current skill level. And I was looking at Deathsea's total of Deathsea has, like, he's a mythic drafter and has a spreadsheet similar to this one and shows like 65, 66% win rate. And so he's up there among the better drafters. And so it's kind of neat because it shows me, like, the gap between where I'm at and, like, how much farther I have to go, like where the skill gap is between me and the top, and how much, like, that's a lot of win percentage that I have to be available to reclaim. If I played perfect Magic, you can assume my win percentage would be even better than 66%. So there's this huge amount of win percentage available to me if I were... here, let me put my webcam back on. Hello. Yeah, there's a pretty big amount of win percentage. I'm going to move this left cam to the corner, and we'll put it like this. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's fine. So there is a... But this feels like... So to get back to the game we just played, like, it's such a game of inches in so many little spots. Yeah, I mean, we could draft more Clear the Mind. I know he has like a 75% win rate on Clear the Mind decks, but my point is that Deathsea wins this one, is my point, right? Like, we played a fairly tight game through the whole thing, and then with one attack step left, I still made the right call, because I think leaving it back for the emergency block was correct. But I even had laid it out that, like, one of the reasons we were leaving it back is so that we could be lethal the following turn still with an attack if we didn't need it. And I was like, oh, they're offering a trade here. I should try and take this trade. And I guess my thinking in that moment was, if we don't draw the land, if we don't draw land number 6, are we going to wish we had tried to trade here? And so maybe there is some... I had to rethink that through, but it's possible that somebody like Deathsea would play for the untap win if you didn't think... Yeah, so there's red and black points another line. Like, my point is that we played a fairly tight, good game. We've drafted a good deck, and we played fairly tight, and then we made a couple of decisions under, you know, there's the clock pressure as well, so that contributes to my suboptimals and punts. But I just feel like these are the places where the top players make that difference up. Like, let's take... So now I'm kind of curious. We'll claim this prize. It's still sweet. Profit. Love it. Get this pack.